Hello, welcome to this analysis on XRP. Sorry that the first video the network was really terrible, so I had to end the live and restart it again. So thank you for joining me. So if we look closely, like this is the daily chart on XRP. So currently we see that we are clearly on a good support, right? A good support that we could get a bounce. But is this dump over? No, it's not over. This dump is not over, but we're likely going to get a bounce at the current support where we are, because you can see that this is the sellers this is the buyer's line, right? We've been respecting it since we began this pump, and this is the seller's line, the major seller's line, right? And the major buyer's line. And if I go to my 4 hours chart, the 4 hours chart kind of have a very good reversal candle right now on that buyer's line. Like this is a 2-bar candle, a good sign that the current support is likely going to see some sort of bounce, right? But okay, that's a good thing. But how far is this bounce going to go down? How far is this bounce going to go before we get rejected again? And like I said, if you watched or you've been following my analysis in this channel, I said that XRP is going to get a better beautiful buy at 0.8, 0.6 area or 0.9 if the dump doesn't go as hard as I'm saying it. But I see it coming back to somewhere around here. Now we have a support area here. This is the support area that I'm talking about. So it stands all the way down to this point, right? So all this area is support area, 0.9 to 0.6 area, at most 0.7, at worst 0.6, right? But that's at worst case scenario, it gets to this point, right? But I see a good buy scenario at this point, because what I see going on right now, based on what I'm saying, is yes, this sellers are pushing hard, but we could have this buyers bouncing to this point right now. If you look closely, you can see that we have multiple resistance ahead, right? And the support is far, right? Apart from this current support where we are now, the next support is we have resistance very close by here, and yet another resistance here, which tells you that the upside right now is looking a tough journey for the bulls, but the downside is looking like an easy ride for the bears. So we have more of struggle going up than struggle going down. So we're going to likely see some rejections when these bulls try to bounce, because of these struggles that are ahead, because all the support are being pushed to become resistance. You know, when we broke this one and broke it here, now we are now on this support, but now the overhead resistance, overhead support that we were in before is now our new resistance. So here's what I see happening now. If these bulls currently, with the current market, the current support and the current candle that I'm saying, it shows that a bounce is still likely, like I said, and this bounce could get to 1.5, rejection around this 1.5 then we are going to dive down, and if this returns to this support one more time, it's going to break it down. That's what I see happening, because it becomes a multiple hit, right? It has come the first time, it returned the second time and pierced through it. The second time we had this piercing through it, right? So even if it's going to return, it shouldn't make a dip that will cross this line one more time, because anything that breaks this line is going to come down here, right? Anything that breaks this line is going to come right here, right? So we want this bulls, they are going to come here, and if you see that I am making use of both the horizontal support and resistance and the trend line support and resistance. So we see also that our horizontal support and resistance seems to be colliding with the same area, right? It seems to be colliding with the same area. You can see it right here. It seems to be colliding with the same area, and it's the same area that I just said that we could get rejected, right? Now if things work out for the bulls, and we are likely to see some volume rise, which I see happening, because why? There've been too many attack on this seller's line. Now this seller's line you're seeing is actually for lower time frame. It's for lower time frame, right? So we've seen a lot of attack. Like this is about the third attempt they are making on it. So the fourth attempt is the one that is coming now, and this fourth attempt is likely going to break it to head to this overhead resistance, and that is exactly where I see the problem hitting the XRP buyers, right? That's where I see the challenge. That's where I see the rejection likely to play out. So we're likely going to see this rejection playing out around this point, right? Around this 1.6 area. So we're going to get this bounce that is going to pull back and then go back up. That's what I see. But it get rejected and come right back to this point, because once it gets rejected here, then it's going to break this point. It's going to break this point. So we're going to get something like looks like this and like this, right? That's what we're going to get. That's the movement we're going to see. So if you look at the movements we're having, you can see that it's still a sideways market. Like we had this move like a peanut, right? But the overall market is still bullish, right? The overall market is bullish, but we could see this pullback to get this stop loss that will clear all those who are buying here, and then the bull will continue. That's sure if we are to look at the weekly chart, right? That's the bigger picture that I'm seeing on the weekly chart. So look at the weekly chart, you see that we're going to come to retest. What we are experiencing that right now is more like a retest. We're going for a retest of the breakout of the weekly chart, right? So if you look at the weekly chart, you see that we have this breakout. So if you look at the weekly chart, you see that we had this breakout at this point, like this breakout of this horizontal support. We had the breakout to the upside, and that's this point, right? So this is our breakout line, right? And what we're having these bulls do is they are coming to retest the breakout, and the move will continue, right? So what we are seeing now is generally not affecting just XRP. So this is not just like XRP thing. No, it's affecting the whole crypto market. Like the whole crypto market is in this current pullback, and especially it's all happening in weekly chart. Weekly chart pullback. Weekly charts are still bullish, monthly charts are still bullish, but daily chart, 4 hours chart, all the way down to lower time frame are experiencing a cycle, a bear cycle, right? But the monthly chart and the weekly chart are still bullish. So what we are seeing is crypto is still bullish in the long term, but pullbacks are normal in every market. And right now XRP, what is my target on XRP pullback, and also what is my target on this current bounce that we are having? So this is the 1 hour chart. Let's have a closer look at this 1 hour chart. The major rejection will be here, right? That's where I see the major rejection. But I'm going to put a full stop here, because now this major rejection, like I said, is going to depend on the because we need to break this line first. This line needs to break first, right? We need to break that seller's line. It's important we break this seller's line. It's very important that we break that seller's line right now. That will be the challenge. If we can't break this seller's line, then it's going to go down. So it's a problem, but we can still get something to go like this. If we don't break it, it comes down. If we make it through, then this is where the major rejection. This is where I see my major rejection. This is where I'm likely going to take my next shot. So patience will be required for this bounce. Let's see what the volumes are saying. Let's turn up on our volume. Let's see what the volume looks like. The volume bars. It's a good thing that we have this 2-bar reversal, right? And current candle seems to have some little volume with it. So is that volume going to be enough to pull up more? Well, here's what I see. Even if this current candle, okay, let's look at let's even go to 5 minutes and see what 5 minutes is looking at. Let's see if we can get a bias line that buyers have tried to develop. Let's see if we can connect any bias line on this 5 minutes chart, right? Let's see what the sellers are doing on the lower time frame. Let's see. Let's have a group of what their outcome is like. So this is the sellers line on 5 minutes chart and the bias line. Let's get that bias line. Now mind you, this can easily get broken because it's lower time frame, but we want to use it to actually see what we are looking at. If the bounce is going to continue or is going to get rejected. So let's look at what we are having here. So let's see what's the closest horizontal support. So we are currently at a resistance on 5 minutes, right? You can see it has acting as support right here and here, and resistance here. So we are back to that resistance, so there could be some sort of reaction, but it looks like if they keep respecting this bias line as well, we could see this thing is going to continue the pull up, right? So we're going to have the pull up continue. Pull up is going to likely continue. Because they are heading for this seller's line, and so they are heading for this line, and once they make it to this one, right, you can see it's further. supports are too close. There are too many supports that are close, but the resistance that is found 5 minutes is right here. So we could get them getting to this point, then react and continue, because they are actually respecting this pull up line. But we're not here for 5 minutes chat, just having a brief look at what it looks like. So we're going to go back on our 4 hours. Now mind you, this is a multiple time frame analysis. For the sake of scalpers who are watching, we'll be looking at multiple time frames and what you should be expecting, because if I am to take my horizontal support to draw the same resistance area I saw on 5 minutes chart, then it should be somewhere around here, right? So there's this resistance and support somewhere around this area. In fact, I should use an area. The same, we're trying to locate it on 4 hours, somewhere around here. It's somewhere around here. So there's this resistance and support somewhere around here, right? 5 minutes, that's the area we are stuck in 5 minutes. So look at it. That's the area. So if this pullback is pulling back on 5 minutes, it's going to move something like this. It's going to move like this. It's going to move like this, respect the line, and then come up to this point. Respect the line, and probably we have to move to this point, right? So that's what I see happening. Hello Johnny, nice to meet you. Thank you for sharing your watch time with me and sharing this moment with me. I am pleased to have you here, and thank you everyone who has taken the time to check this video out. SRP, I need to bag more SRP, because we are going to bag SRP at 0.8. It's coming. Keep your money ready, it's coming. But right now we're still getting some bounces, and if you haven't had the opportunity to take good profit, I think this bounce is a good time to take some profit off the table. Probably not close the whole position, probably like 25% or something, so that you can buy the pullback with the 25% and add that to your position, and then we keep going. Because trust me, SRP has something big coming. SRP has something big coming, but that will be after this retest of breakout. Because whenever there's a breakout, I'm a pure price action trader, so for me, when there's a breakout, there's always a retest, right? There's always a retest. It doesn't matter how far this breakout runs, if we come back to retest the breakout. To make sure that these buyers are confident enough that there's a strong support, right? The support is what they are retesting, because when they break this resistance, they will come back to convert the resistance to support. So in the past, we saw that this area was a resistance, was a strong resistance, right? So these buyers are going to come to it to make sure they are turning the resistance to the home, their new home, so that probably when they start running, they know that it's like you conquer a country, you arrived at a country and you are at a war as a soldier. You conquer the country, but you want to make sure that you don't just conquer the country, you add it to your territory, right? That's how this, because for me, the way I see this market is, I see this market that this is a war between buyers and sellers. Whether you like it or not, this war is going on your money. It's a war on your money. Who is going to take your money? Is it the buyers or the sellers? And whoever is more powerful or have more troops of soldiers in his side is likely going to win the war, and the whole territory is going to be conquered. So this support and resistance is like a territory. Is a support becomes a resistance once it is broken, and a resistance becomes a support once it is broken. So you see, these buyers and sellers are constantly fighting so hard to claim a support or a resistance, right? So if they break a support, if buyers break, if sellers break a support, they will fight buyers, and you see buyers fighting the sellers to reclaim their support, right? And if they fail, you see these sellers will triple in number and make sure they drive them down to the next support. It's as simple as that. It's that kind of, all this more goes on your money, right? So if they break a support, it's down more. If they break a resistance, it's up more, right? So in our situation, what we are having here is these sellers, right? So you can see how they started their journey of breaking the support, right? So you see what is happening. If I should extend this my area, if I should extend this area to this point, you see that the first they broke this one here and they drove them down to the second area. They broke it, they drove them down to the second one, right? The same thing happened when these buyers actually arrived at their major support. So you see each time frame has its own support and has its own resistance, right? So the more stronger support and resistance are always the higher time frame, right? Time frame, what higher time frame am I referring to? I'm talking about the daily chart. In fact, I like the weekly and the daily chart support. The weekly and the daily chart support are the major support that always, when they fall back to, they always hold this strong, they always hold the bears, right? They always hold this the sellers, they hold them down. Why is that? Is that because lower time frames are more of boots, right? Boots are constantly scalping this lower time frame, so their support and resistance get easily broken. But when you arrive at that higher time frame, you have these institutional buyers and sellers trading higher time frame, right? Because most of them are always adding to their positions as the price is moving up. So because these institutional traders are mostly trading higher time frame, you see them protecting that higher time frame by support area. These are investors. These are people that when they put money in BTC, they might probably be trading the monthly chart or weekly to hold this BTC position for like probably 6 months, a year or 2 or so. So they are constantly adding to their BTC position, they are constantly adding to their XRP position, they are constantly adding to their crypto position. So because of that, higher time frame support and resistance tend to hold. Even when they get broken, they instantly get bought back, right? They tend to hold stronger than lower time frame. So I always like basing my analysis on daily and weekly, like I said, because I get excited whenever price comes to the daily and weekly chart. When you are trading the lower time frame, you will easily get stuck in the noise because it's very noisy. It gets very noisy. You get stuck in the noise. But higher time frame, you're going to actually get more confident. So if I say, let me turn on my my EMA, like I said, let's turn on the EMA, and you can see on the lower time frame we have a golden cross, right? We already experienced this golden cross on 4 hours, right? This is 4 hours chart. And so what are the EMAs I'm using here? So my EMAs are simple. I'm using the white EMA is the 20 exponential moving average. That would be good for those who are trading 15 minutes and 5 minutes scalping. Like I said, I'm looking at that in this analysis. And the yellow one is the 55 exponential moving average, which is perfect for 4 hours price action traders, right? Then the blue one, which is this one right here, is the 200 exponential moving average, which I use for my weekly chart, daily chart analysis, because they're really good in telling me what is likely coming up in those higher time frame. That's the 200 exponential moving average. So when I combine these 3 exponential moving average and I have crosses, I have a view of what is actually playing out. So right now, if I'm looking at 4 hours, my main focus of a cross on this exponential moving average is the 55 exponential moving average, right? Or whenever it's being bounced on. Now, important role in this analysis on 4 hours and higher time frame, 55 and 200 exponential moving average. So right now I'm going to start with the 55 exponential moving average. We're going to actually look at it and see what it's telling us. So if you look closely, you see that we have a golden cross confirmed. That is it here. Right here we have the 20 exponential moving average crossing below the 55 exponential moving average. For me, that's a golden cross. That is a golden cross, and that is why you can see both of them rejected the push up here, right? They rejected it with a strong 2-bar reversal. So that's a golden cross. Likely see some move down before we see another golden cross to the up. It's a sign that more down is still coming to this coin. So even though we are likely going to get a bounce, it's a sign that more down is coming. And then also, if I look closely, I see that we are also at the area of the 200 exponential moving average at the same